You are watching the Global Gamers Invitational Tournament brought to you by iFixit. SCVs for the real world. The Handsome Nerd attire for the handsomest of nerds. And Esports United, sponsored by Intel. This broadcast is also made possible by IC Cup TV, TeamLiquid.net, and of course, Blizzard Entertainment. Hello everybody and welcome back. This is Mac with Game 2 of the series between Suggy and his opponent Sinatra. Game 1 of this round of qualifying round of 32 series, going to Sinatra. He was initially put in a bit of a bad position but got to Colossus, and Suggy just did not transition out of mass stalkers and just got out-muscled by a superior teched army and forced to concede Game 1 on Metalopolis. Once again, want to quickly thank those sponsors, iFixit, the Handsome Nerd, and Esports United, all three of them donating to this tournament and bringing out great players like Suggy and Sinatra. So both players building their initial pylon. An interesting spot there for a first pylon from Suggy. Maybe going to be trying to hide some tech there and fake a... maybe trying to fake a proxy? Hard to tell, because that is a very strange pylon placement. We'll see what he does with that. And meanwhile, we did get a close pylon for Sinatra. He is checking for proxies here in his expansion and moving out. I think that it is actually a fake of proxy putting this pylon here, because when you come in through this ramp, you're going to check here. If you see nothing, you're going to check here, and then you're going to panic, go back in your base, and prepare for a rush. And I don't think I would personally ever check here for construction. He is getting that first gateway, and that will be more likely spotted. And Sinatra, I don't know how he could have known. I guess these guys practiced together. He checks right away, sure enough, and finds that. So whatever Suggy was trying to accomplish did not happen at all. Sinatra way too sharp. And both players, I guess, forced to play. And there it is, Pro Scout. Suggy is just shocked that this probe was able to figure that. Okay, and the probe came from that angle. That's how he figured it out. So good for Sinatra, some good, smart recognition. That may as well have been it could have just been a probe checking for proxies, but he did anticipate the gateways nicely. So both players playing a mirror. Oh, I take that back. We do have a second gateway down from Sinatra, so once again he's going to try with that early pressure. However, Suggy did scout it. So his choice now is to either match the second gateway of his opponent or try and wall off and get fast stalkers or cannons. Looks like currently he is doing neither of those two things, getting his pylon slowly torn down by this one probe, but the Zealot will put a stop to that. And meanwhile in Sinatra's base, getting that cyber core. I think he considered going for fast Zealots, but instead, given that it's been detected, he's going to hold off. To be fair, a 2-gate Zealot push would have been effective. The lack of a wall off, this exposed gateway and pylon could have been very effective, but I think his opponent just scouted it too early and decided that since it didn't work last game, he won't try it this game. So Sinatra nicely set up on 2 gateways, chrono boosting some stalkers now that the Suggy's probe is no longer looking. So he is going to try some early aggression, this time with Stalker Micro, imitating his opponent's play from last time. And this probe does not scout those gateways. He's just thinking that it's going to be a late 4-gate timing push. He's got his sneaky pylon. He's going to get away before, and never sees that chrono boost. So he's not aware of the aggressive play coming from Sinatra. Not aware of his aggressive intentions, I suppose, is a better way of saying it. And once again, chrono boosting both of those gateways to get more stalkers into his opponent's base. Only the single gateway, 3 more on the way, but Suggy is going to be in a bad position here. Those gateways are not going to finish in time, and these structures are very exposed. Sinatra definitely in a great position. The one chance that Suggy has is his Warp Gate tech is almost done. He has this pylon. It has not been spotted. So if he can hold out long enough, he can get forces into his opponent's base and maybe force him to either retreat or just kill enough workers to give himself a massive edge. So a lot is going to come down to what happens in the next few seconds. The first 2 stalkers of Sinatra are in. Suggy has 2 units of his own, able to kite that Zealot, but he will be fired upon consistently by that stalker. Fortunately, Sinatra has another stalker coming, so he now has a unit advantage. He will be able to overwhelm these forces, and it's up to Suggy to try and delay the loss of these units as long as possible to get reinforcements either here or directly into his opponent's base. Are we getting chrono boosted more stalkers? I guess he's out of energy, and these stalkers aren't able to do much more damage than he would like. Lots more units being warped in, and I think this early pressure by Sinatra is going to be fended away by Suggy. He's going to finish off that Zealot for good measure. I think No, he is not. The Zealot will live, so Suggy not losing a single unit. 1 probe each is all that has been lost. And income pretty much the same, army pretty much the same. So neither player able to achieve much of an early advantage, unfortunately. This still is the ace in the hole for Suggy, and there it is, warping in some Zealots. Going to see if he can't do some damage to the probe line. He really should move out with this force as well. And just in time, Sinatra does spot this pylon, so he will be able to warp in some units. I take that back. He never researched warp gates, so Sinatra only has these 2 gateways. And the Zealots are loose in the probe line, doing some damage. Looks like they're going to get a couple of probes before this army of Sinatra's does come back. And this is what I said, he really should move this army out, because he can put some really nice pressure on. Instead, he's going to lose these Zealots before he's able to arrive at the front door. But there's some reinforcements, 5 Zealots, all falling back, waiting for reinforcements to arrive. They can ambush any units crossing this, crossing these weeds. But Suggy is going to lose that proxy pylon. This is all the Zealots that will make it into the base, and the reinforcing army of Suggy has arrived, so Sinatra now very behind, just not enough units to overpower Suggy's. He's going to lose a second Stalker that just came out of the warp gates at a terrible time, and doing his best to kill these Zealots. Similar situation as was in Suggy's base earlier, but Sinatra just completely outnumbered. Suggy doing his best to cut off the retreating Stalkers, and I think that Sinatra is in a fair deal of trouble here. His one saving grace is there is no reinforcing pylon inside his base, so Suggy will not be able to reinforce as quickly as he needs to. The probes coming off the line to try and engage as best they can. That's usually a bad sign, and Zealots are starting to chew them up. And Sinatra now very far behind in the income. He only has 4 gateways, no warp gates, and he's not training any units, so preoccupied with the micro of his Stalkers and hiding them all in this gas. Suggy definitely firmly in control here, and reinforcements are on the way for more Stalkers. This will probably break Sinatra's back. He just does not have the infrastructure to deal with sustained pressure from 4 warp gates. Looks like he is finally going to press off those initial forces, but Suggy's reinforcements have arrived, and there's just nothing here. Chrono boosting madly, that is just a sign of just being utterly on the back foot, not prepared for sustained fights. And there are the reinforcing Stalkers. All these gateways not producing anything because there's no resources from all those probe losses, and Suggy is going to fall back. Great decision. He does not need to continue the pressure until he has those reinforcements. His opponent is completely broken, and I think Sinatra might recognize that. With those Zealots to absorb the damage, these 3 Stalkers will be enough to finish him off. He can't produce any more units from these gateways, and Sinatra sure enough calls the GG. That is it. The series is now tied 1-1, and we'll see which player is able to take it home in the 3rd match. Sinatra is the loser, so he will choose the final map. We'll have to see what that is, so tune in right away here on IC Cup TV for the final Game 3 match of this series. And until then, have a good one.